morning. Welcome to 6th, 7th and 8th channel of Byju's. I'm your teacher Ankita and I welcome you in today's class, which is a super interesting class, everyone. We'll be looking at the history 8th class chapter, which is the ruling the countryside part 2. Now, before we get started, everyone, do write in the comment section and tell me how many of you have seen part 1. Yes, I'm reading your comments, everyone. Please make sure, if you haven't already, please make sure to watch the part 1 of this chapter so that you have the understanding about this particular chapter more. And if you can see me and if you can hear me clearly, give me a thumbs up, everyone, in the chat. I hope that all of you are ready for this interesting and super amazing class. Really sorry for the delay. I was with Aishwarya ma'am and I was taking some other class, so got just a little bit delay over there, but I hope that all of you are ready. If you're watching this video live, please make sure to hit the like button now. And if you're watching this video not live and maybe later, still please make sure to hit the like button. And if you're new here, do take a moment and subscribe to our channel. Yes, thank you so much everyone for understanding. Thank you so much. Yes, we'll have a very quick recap of part 1. I have that planned for you. Yes, everyone. So I hope that all of you are ready. Ta-da! Josh is really very high. So everyone, please make sure to hit the subscribe button for the channel if you're new here and like button. Now let's quickly recap, everyone. I want all of you to stay with me. I'll not be taking much of your time. I know that 8 p.m. dinner time is very close, right? And yeah, it's a history, man. Thoda boring hota hai, to thoda jaldi padenge hum, okay? Everyone, I hope that all of you are there with me. I want all of you to stay with me. Please talk to me in between. If you have doubts, write the doubts. But wait, we'll be taking the doubts only in the doubt board style. Okay? Everyone, I hope that you have taken a screenshot of this from the previous class. Right? We have this. So we have divided this chapter into 5 important parts, sub-parts, I would say. First, we understood the agenda of the East India Company. That why they, first of all, we know that we understood the agenda of the East India Company after they got the Diwani of the Bengal, when they got the financial control of the Bengal. Then we discussed about the steps that East India Company took to increase their revenue, right? Then of course we discussed that how, now we'll be discussing now that how they actually took the control of the indigo production, right? And of course we'll be talking about the reaction of the farmers and analyzing the blue rebellion and after its math, okay? And its aftermath. So everyone, are you clear? EIC, East India Company. Jagrati, it's the East India Company. Lag hai, lag to nahi, everything is fine from our side. Shiva sir, there's no lag, right? Right? Everyone, the net from our side is working perfectly fine. So please make sure to refresh your page once, or you can change the setting of your phone also, or in the other device if you're watching this. Okay. There's no lag. Yes, there's no lag, huh? Yes. Right? Yes, Jug. Okay. Okay, everyone. Let's get started. Oh, you want me to call Aishwarya ma'am? But ma'am left, right? Ma'am has some important work, so ma'am is not there with us over here. Okay, let's get started, everyone. So before we get started, let's have a quick recap of the things that we have studied in the part 1. What we discussed, the East India Company, the EIC, the East India Company got the, right, they got the Upadhi, right, they become the Diwan of Bengal, right, on 12th of August 1765. What is the meaning of this? Basically, Diwani, what they got the control of the financial decision that was happening in that particular region. So now, of course, they can control the revenue, how it's moving. They took the control of, how the trade will be happening. They took the control of the taxes. That was all happening. Very good. Bengal, Orissa and Bihar. Absolutely correct. Now, when they took the control of it, they was like, you know what? Now that we have control, हमें पैसा चाहिए. We want to increase the revenue for the East India Company. And what they did and how they did, we discussed, right? First, of course, they felt that they have to capture they look for the 2 important ways. And everyone, can you write in the comment section and tell me what are the 2 important ways they find, right? They actually got the idea that they can actually pick the correct answer. Yes? Very good, very good. So first of course was the land, right? They thought that they can actually take the control of the land, and from there they'll be able to generate the revenue, right? Very good. They increased the tax of the land, and of course they started increasing the tax on the agricultural production also. Very good. Increase the agricultural production and increase the taxes on the land. Everyone, are we clear? Someone was asking what is the meaning of agenda? जो plan क्या है उनका, right? What was the plan of them? They had a plan that they want to increase the revenue, right? And how they increase the revenue? By increasing the tax on land and by increasing the agriculture production. Clear? Very good. Then of course they have a system in place so that they can increase the revenue, and in due course of time, right, from 1793 till 1820, and of course more ahead of that, they came up with the three different systems. Now everyone, in this particular chapter, these are the very important topics, I would say. So everyone, what are the three, right? What are the three important systems that we have? Let's quickly recall. First, of course, we have the permanent system, which came in the year 1793. Then we have Malavari settlement, which came in the year 1822. And last May, we have Rotwari settlement, or also known as Munro settlement, right, which came in the year 1820. Now let's quickly recall what other things that are there in that. So, in the permanent settlement, everyone, let me just change the color of the pen. In the permanent settlement, right, who was the initiator of that? Can you quickly write, everyone? Yes, and everyone, those of you who are here, please make sure you hit the like button for the video. Thank you for reminding me that. Yes. Very good, Saroj. Yes. So in the permanent settlement, right, this whole idea came by the Charles Cornwallis, right, in the year 1793. And he said that on a piece of a land, right, he said that on a piece of a land, right, when the farmers are working, they will be giving us a fixed amount. Okay, he focused on the fixed amount. He said that all of the farmer will be giving them the fixed amount. Who will be collecting the revenue or the taxes from the farmer? We have Rajas or the Talukdar, right? They are the people who will be going to the villages, who will be going to the farmers, and they will be collecting the tax, right, everyone? Very good. Then of course the revenue amount was fixed. That is the reason it is called as the permanent settlement. But later they realized that people are producing good amount of agriculture production, but they are not paying that much because of the permanent system. That is the reason they came up with another system, which was the Malavari system. Mahalwari, right? Mahalwari. Mahal, at that particular time, they used to call it a group of group of the villages all together, nearby villages all together. So Mahalwari system was actually devised by the Holt Mackenzie, right, and it came into the effect in the year 1822. Then of course it's there in the northwest province of the Bengal. Now it was the alternative of the permanent settlement. Very important. The village head was in charge over here. Rajas and Talukdar was not there because they were taking some money. They were not developing the land, but they were taking that money and keeping in their pockets. So of course the East India Company came to know about it, and they said we need to change the system. So in the Mahalwari system, the village head, right, the village head will be collecting the revenue, right, and this amount was not fixed. It was revised periodically based upon the length of the plot, the quality of the soil, etc. Based upon this, the tax was being paid. Okay, I can see two important things. Ma'am explained Zamindar. So Zamindar are the people who had little bit of power, they have little bit of more of land, and then they are actually helping the East India Company to collect the revenue. Okay, Zamindar, Talukdars have kind of same role. Okay, and revenue is nothing but, right, of course when we talk about revenue, what is the revenue of that particular company, right, for the East India Company, how much they are earning, right? Yes. Priya, I have answered that question. Very good. Talukdar were the people, right, who were actually helping the East India Company to collect the revenue from the farmers, and they were providing it to the East India Company. Very good, everyone. Moving ahead to the next system, and after that we will be jumping into today's class, everyone. We have to study, right? Here we go. So we discussed about the Rotwari or Munro system, right? Of course, he introduced it, and this is a very unique system, I would say. Of course, it was there in the southern part of the country. Here, the British collected the revenue directly from the peasant or the farmers. They used to collect the direct taxes from the farmer itself, and of course, the revenue was fixed at half at the value of the crop, and it was fixed for 30 years approximately. Okay, not exactly fixed per se, but yeah, that is a floating amount that they have. Everyone, I hope that it's clear. The plots on the land were used to be surveyed, and then based upon that, the call will be taken. Everyone, I hope that all of you are clear with this. Jaldi say. Everyone, do take a screenshot of this. Very good. Yes. Awesome. Now the only topic that is remaining for us to discuss is that after doing all of this, right, they still failed. It was not that after doing all of this they had a very good revenue and other things. They were still struggling. What was the reason that why they failed? Why the East India Company failed? Three important reasons for it. First, of course, high taxes, right? There were very high taxes. The people were not able to pay the taxes. What happened? There was a decline, right? People actually left their land. Decline in agriculture. People left their land and went to different cities and finding different jobs altogether. And because of the fixed system, right, there was the fail of these system. So I hope that all of you are clear that why all of these systems were not a great success for the East India Company. Very good, everyone. Yes, Ansh, I'll answer your doubt, Bache. Give me some time. We will answer this at the end. Yes, there was no difference, Saroj, right? They're the people who are working, right, in the field. Yes, okay, crystal clear. So let's quickly start, everyone, with this, right? Step taken by the East India Company to control the agriculture produce, right? Now they want to increase their revenue. They have a clear vision. They know that the land is really very fertile. Now what they did, let's quickly understand it. And those of you who have doubt, give me some time. I'll take up your doubts later. But I want all of you to now stay focused over here. Okay. Let's move ahead, everyone. We'll be discussing about why the Britishers took a U-turn. Not exactly a U-turn, but they took a very interesting measures. Not for us, but for them. So the reasons for controlling the agriculture produce. Now over here, we'll be discussing about that they understood that the agriculture has good amount of production in India. We have tea, sugarcane, opium, indigo, jute, cotton, etc. So in our country, right, the soil is really very fertile, and there was a huge production of all of these products. So they clearly know that if they want to generate the revenue, they have to focus on the agriculture, right? So the East India Company started the idea of making the production of these food items increase. Amongst that, we have two very important things for all of us to remember. The indigo, right, is a very interesting plant that we have over here. The indigo dye production increased, and of course the production and the cultivation of these crops increased drastically in our country. Let's understand why this indigo plant becomes super important for the Britishers, and why they came to our country, and why the cultivation of this particular crop was the beginning of the rebel towards the East India Company. Srinivas, I'll answer that question, but just wait for some time, right? Everyone, are we clear? So let's quickly discuss about that. So indigo plant, right, is usually grown in the tropical country. Our country is a tropical country. So the Britishers got their understanding, yahan pe we'll be able to see the good production of the indigo plant. So they came over here, but it's not that our only country is there in the tropical region. There are other countries in the world where, of course, the indigo production was happening. But at that particular time, they were under the control of the Britishers only, and there was a very huge rebel that was happening. Slaves who were working in the field, they revolted, so the production of the indigo drastically decreased, right? Apart from that, in the other tropical countries or the other temperate zones, right, we have a very similar plant called as the wood plant. WOAD. Wood, right? So this is a very confusing plant, everyone, but just remember the spelling of the plant, right? Now this plant also help us making the ink. Which color ink? Violet or the blue color dye, I would say, not the ink but the dye. And people were used to use it, right? It was grown in the parts of the Italy, France, Germany, Britain. That is not important, but we should know that there was an alternative of the indigo also. And it was grown in the European countries. Now, when they saw that they were happening, so they were not very, inclined towards it. But slowly, what happened? The competition for indigo, the plant that we have in our country, was increasing. So the Britishers, the European traders, said that please put a ban that indigo plant will not come to our countries and we'll be using the wood plant only to make that dye. People have said, okay, fine, but the people who are making the clothes, right, who are using these dye in the industries, they told, okay, this plant does not give a very bright color, it's very dull and gives a very pale color. We want the indigo plant only. So after lot of changes in the rules and the policies, what we saw that the indigo production increased and it was moving from India to the European countries. Everyone, please do remember this. I'm just telling you in a form of a story. You don't have to remember all of these steps, but you should know about this particular part of a history which is important, right? So, if we have to sum up, indigo gives beautiful color, right? Gives blue color. Right, I'm sure you would have seen indigo print, right? If you go to the market, they'll say indigo print is very famous, indigo print is very great, right? So indigo color, the dye was on a huge demand, right? Then we have another plant, which is a wood plant, which was grown in various parts of Europe, which gives dull and pale color. It gives a bluish and violetish color, but that was not very prominent. The industrial, right, the people who are making the clothes, who are working in the industry, right, they want this indigo. So of course the people who are growing these plants said that, please, India se indigo plant ko mat aane do. Ban laga indigo plant pe, but after some time they realized that कि इनको वही dye चाहिए, तो ban हट गया और India से indigo की supply बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गई. And at that particular time, the East India Company saw a chance in the increase in the revenue. Everyone, are we clear? All of you, are you clear up to here? Are we clear with this interesting story? Jaldi say. Yes, all of you, I hope that it's clear. You can take a screenshot of this. Very good, very good. Yes. Okay. I will repeat it, don't worry. Pale means very fika sa. Dull and very pale. Hemant, East India Company. EIC is East India Company. Okay, I'll wait over here. If you have any doubts, please ask. Light, absolutely color. Absolutely correct. Okay, Pro Pratik is saying clear. Awesome, crystal clear. Okay, yes, Saroj. Difference between tax and revenue. Tax is something that, okay, interesting question. Mohar, give me 1 minute. Okay. Everyone, what is tax and what is revenue? So, of course, when we talk about the revenue, it's more in terms, see, there's very fine line difference that we have, right? The revenue comes from, let's suppose if we have a company, right? Let's suppose we have the East India Company, right? They are generating the money, right? By taking taxes. Taxes is a part, right? Taxes, they are asking people. They are providing their protection, right? They are giving the service to the people. See, we provide you this land, you work on this land and you give us the money. That is a tax. Revenue is that the whole sum the East India Company was generating at that particular time. So I'm not just talking in terms of one particular, we're just taking an example of the company over here to explain you what is the difference between the revenue and the taxes. Ma'am, what is the use of indigo? It's a dye. It's used to give the beautiful blue color to the clothes. And of course, there are other uses also, mostly to give the color to the different clothes. Please ask your doubt. Please ask your doubt. Yes. Okay, Srinivas, it's a plant, bache. It's a plant that have the blue color. Mohar. Ma'am, why it is known as Rotwari? Because Rot people, right? The Rot word over here signifies the peasant or the farmers or the tenants who are working on that particular land. Reformation changes. Kushank, okay, thank you everyone. Please make sure to hit the like button. Thank you for helping us. Ma'am, why its demand increases? Because it gives a beautiful color. Okay, Saroj? Yes, very good, very good. So everyone, I hope that it's clear. Okay. Rotwari system. Rotwari system was given by Monroe, right? Thomas Monroe, right? In the year, you can find the year 1821, 22 approximately. So what had happened in this particular system, it was majorly in the southern part of the country, right? So the people will be surveying this particular land, and based upon that, they'll be asking to pay the taxes. The different thing over here is that the taxes are directly going to the East India Company, and they are directly collecting the tax from the farmer. There is no middleman over here. Clear? All of you? Chanchal, I have explained that. You have to go back and see that, bache. Okay, 1823. Very good. So all of you, I hope that this is clear. Yes. Okay, let's move ahead, everyone. So we now know that indigo has a huge demand, right? And of course, people are ready to pay that huge amount of the money. So what happened? We saw that the production of the indigo increases, right? And kind of people are being forced to grow the indigo. Now that the Britishers and the East India Company have an understanding that indigo has a huge market, what they did that, fine, yeah, it's very easy to increase the production of the indigo. How? By increasing or by forcing the people to grow it. Yes. So we have niche cultivation system and we have royalty cultivation system. Two systems, everyone. Again, very important. In this chapter, we have the systems only. We have 5 important systems, and that is a quite summary of the whole chapter. So now we'll be discussing about these two cultivation system, how the Britishers or the East India Company, force the people in our country to work on their fields to grow the indigo. Now, this plant looks very beautiful, right? I am sure all of you see over here. It looks so beautiful, right? And we believe that, initially people believe that, yeah, it's a good thing only. Indigo plant, we'll be able to produce a dye, very good. But slowly they realize it's not that easy process. First of all, the indigo plant, when grown on one particular land, right? That particular land become not so fertile. The fertility of the soil decreased drastically. And after the growth of indigo plant on a piece of land, the farmer cannot grow any other crop, like any other crops like wheat, rice, etc. Okay, that is very important. Apart from that, indigo plant makes a dye. The whole process of making dye is not that easy. They have to take the plant, they have to boil it, they have to change it, they have to move. There's a lot of different steps that are involved in the whole process. Okay, so it was tricky, but let's see how the Britishers of the East India Company was trying to make sure that they have more money from the cultivation of the indigo. So niche cultivation, remember everyone, sometimes we'll say the needle cultivation, also this niche cultivation. Now for the niche cultivation, the planters, now who are the planters, everyone? Right? Either they have the land or they are the people who are working on the land, right? Planter grew indigo plants on the land as he directly controlled. For example, if I'm a planter, I can grow it on my land, or if I don't have the land, I might rent a land and I will ask farmers to work on that. He either buy or rent the land. This is what we are just discussing. Now, important thing about the niche cultivation is that this system did not work because of the large land, lots of labor and the resource were needed. Now, what they told the farmers that you don't have to grow it on your whole land. So of course over here we have the two different criteria. For example, if I am a person from the East India Company, and if let's make two people. Okay, this is the East India Company and this is a normal farmer. This person will come and tell you have to grow the indigo. This person will say, you know what, I have the land, I will grow. But there's no fixed amount that you have to grow the indigo on a whole piece of land. You can grow on a small part also, right? Now, this is a very important factor that we have over here. Everyone, I hope that all of you are there with me. Kushank, indigo is expensive or cheap? That time it was expensive. Now, definitely it's not that. How was it? It was cultivated, so we don't have it in our syllabus, so we'll not be going. But in your textbook, they have just mentioned it, right? Not in detail, they have just mentioned okay, what are the different steps that we have. Okay. We will start the mission midterm really very soon. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's move ahead, everyone. Yes, we do have indigo dye now also because we have the color indigo in the markets. Yes. Not at all. Not ignoring you, Sankalp. Can we add just more manure? I'm not sure. I didn't get your question, Shriju. Okay. So let's talk about it, everyone. So what are we discussing? What are we discussing over here? Yes. So we have the planter, right? We have a land, of course, they're growing. And the struggle that they faced in this particular cultivation was that the people, for example, if I have a piece of land and if I'm a farmer, I have my own piece of land. And if I want some extra money, I might work in some other land, right? Also, but usually the cultivation of the indigo and the other crops were happening simultaneously. So people were not willing to work on the indigo plant cultivation as their other important crops. So that was a drawback that the East India Company faced over here. So larger land was there, lot of labor was required and resources were required for the cultivation. And just in case if the cultivation of other crop is happening, the people or the planter will not be able to get the cattle, the labor, right, and the equipments also. That is the reason the niche cultivation for the indigo was not a big success. Pratyaksh, I'll answer your question. Just give me some time, I'll answer your question. Please don't spam. There's no point of you spamming. Please don't spam. I have seen your question. When I take a break, I will be answering your doubt. Yes. Everyone, are we clear up to here? All of you? Yes, all of you, I hope that you are clear with this. Quick thumbs up, everyone. Quick thumbs up. Yes, very good, very good. Okay. So we know that in the niche cultivation, they required plow, they required the bullocks, right? They have a huge maintenance, right? And of course, apart from that, there's no guarantee per se. Okay. Yes. Now let's talk about the another type of cultivation that we have. What was that? Right? Thank you, Manny, for helping your friend out over here. It was called as the rayoti cultivation. Now, what was happening over here? I want all of you to please pay attention over here. Okay. So the planter was forced, right? The planter, for example, if I have this big piece of land, right? I will force the laborers, right? Or the peasants to work on this particular piece of land by signing a contract. Right? Sata. So I'll ask them, you know what, I'll give you this money, but you have to work. And I'll ask them to put a signature or to come in a contract. So they will provide, I will give them the loan, right? The loan commitment, right? The loan was also given kind of, in tricking these people down so that they don't run and don't work for them. So the loan committed the Royat to cultivate indigo on at least 25% of their land. And this system did not work because indigo drained the nutrient from the soil and rice could not be grown. So there are two important things in both of these systems. First, in niche cultivation and of course in Royat cultivation. First, of course, we have the planter, right? And what he's doing, he's actually growing the plants, but there's no pressure on him. Right, there's no pressure. He can actually grow up to less than 25% of it. What was the challenge they were facing? Large land, right? And I'll just write over here, there were no labor and no cattle sometime. Now in the Royd system, on a piece of land, the planter will force people to work, right? And they will come in a contact on a loan. For example, this normal farmer, right, will take some loan. Okay, fine, yeah, I'll give you some salary, but in a kind of a loan way. Planter used to also take the loans, right? So there's a loan situation over here. Now they cannot run, they have to work over there, and they keep on increasing the amount of the loan. For example, if I am the farmer, I will say I want to work. You give me some money, I will purchase the goods. So I will get the machines, right, some tools, some seeds, etc. And I will put my all power into it. But when the cultivation is done and when I'm going into the market to sell this, the East India Company will say, you give this product to us only, but we will take this at a very small price. We will not be giving you more money. What happened? These people, then they have the loan, right? They're not able to repay the loan back to the people, right? And hence they got trapped into the whole cycle. Everyone, I hope that it's clear. Yes, udhar. Absolutely, udhar kind of situation. Yes, Dilip, indigo and Neil are the same. Zamindar batati hu, Hemant abhi ruk jaiye. Ashwini will discuss about the difference also. Okay? Very good. So let's discuss it, everyone. Now I want all of you to take a screenshot of this. Jaldi se. All of you take a screenshot. I'm moving aside, everyone. Do take a screenshot. Ashwini and all of you who want the difference between these, here we have. Please take a screenshot and I will repeat it. Don't worry, bache. I will repeat it. Yes. Now I want all of you to pay attention, and after this I will be taking your doubts. Okay? For 5 minutes, please do pay attention here. There are two types of cultivation that we saw that the East India Company asked the Indians to do. We have niche cultivation. What cultivation we have? We have niche cultivation, and then we have rayoti or rayoti cultivation. Two cultivation. Let's talk about the niche cultivation first. Indigo is produced by the planter on the land controlled by him, and also he could acquire the land on the rent. So we have a piece of land, right? All of you follow me through over here. So for example, I am the planter. I have my control on this particular land and I will be growing the indigo, right? Now I can hire laborers for the indigo cultivation on this piece of land, right? And of course, this cultivation is usually very expensive because I have to give the arrangements, I have to give the tools, everything to the farmers. One of the important thing about the niche cultivation is that they can actually produce less than 25%. There's no hard and fast rule on them to produce more percentage of the land. They were asking them what is a biga. So of course we talk biga in terms of the measurement of the land, right? Itne biga mein aapko ye indigo ugana hai. Clear? So the Britishers used to say that, 1/3 in our books they have mentioned, like more than like 1/3, right? We have to actually grow the indigo. Clear, everyone? Yes. The process of cultivation was very less, right, as compared to the rayoti cultivation. So people were not very inclined in following the niche cultivation altogether because it was not that profitable. Apart from that, for the planters to gather the labor, to gather the equipment, to gather the kettles, it is a headache. That is a reason that niche cultivation was not happening at a very large scale in our country. Everyone, are we clear? Everyone, are we clear with this? Just quickly give me a thumbs up. Niche cultivation को मैं दोबारा से 1 मिनट में बस हिंदी में बताती हूँ. Riya, it's a history class. See, I'm sure you would have seen the thumbnail of it, right? निच कल्टीवेशन क्या है? निच कल्टीवेशन कौन कर रहा था? प्लांटर्स कर रहे थे जिनके पास में अपना खुद का लैंड है या फिर वो लैंड रेंट पे ले रहे थे. अब प्लांटर्स क्या कर रहे हैं? लोगों को बुला रहे हैं, जो लेबर्स हैं, जो फार्मर्स हैं, उनको बुला रहे हैं, बोल रहे हैं कि आप हमारे लिए काम कीजिए. वो थोड़ा सा एक्सपेंसिव पड़ रहा था क्योंकि उन्हें गवर्नमेंट को भी टैक्स देना था और सैलरी भी देनी थी जो लोग काम कर रहे हैं. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, जब ये इंडिगो की कल्टिवेशन हो रही है तब उसी टाइम पे अगर कोई और इंपॉर्टेंट क्रॉप की कल्टिवेशन हो रही है तो उन्हें लेबर नहीं मिलते थे, उन्हें एनिमल्स कैटल नहीं मिल रहे थे, उन्हें टूल्स नहीं मिलते थे, तो उनके लिए काफी वेट करना, उन्हें उसके लिए काफी वेट करना पड़ता था. एंड दे वर नॉट वेरी स्मूथ प्रोसेस ऑल टुगेदर. मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग अबाउट द निच कल्टिवेशन इज दैट कि उन पे कोई प्रेशर नहीं था. they can actually grow less than 25% of the indigo on the piece of land. It was not a hard and fast rule on them कि आपको हमें 60% indigo देना है. Everyone, are we clear? Yes. Pratyaksh, why do we grow indigo? Because indigo gives us a dye which is usually used in various textile industry. Vinita, did the British government themselves choose who will follow the niche cultivation? No. It was up to the people at that particular time. But in the rioted cultivation, right, we saw that it was kind of forceful. Yes, very good. Last point बच्चे ये है कि planters के लिए ना लोगों को मिलना बहुत difficult हो रहा था. जीत, it was very difficult for them to get the people, right, to work in the field and the kettles and other things also. Okay? Yes. And अगर वो दे भी रहे थे तो of course they have to pay the rent. Yes. Clear everyone? Yes. Why, ma'am, why had it written blue for Europe? कहाँ पे? I didn't see that. Blue for Europe? I didn't see. Okay. Ma'am, they could have grown leguminous plant to retain the soil fertility, right? Yes, Avika, but they were not given a chance. Even though they have a valid point कि भाई इंडिगो की खेती करने के बाद में soil fertile नहीं बचती, East India Company will be asking them again, नहीं, you grow indigo only. Clear? Yes, Vaishnavi. Why did they grow on 25%? That is the percentage that they said कि हाँ, you can grow on this piece of land. Okay, everyone. Now this is all about the niche cultivation. A quick thumbs up and we have to move ahead, everyone. Right? We have spent a good amount of time on the niche cultivation, and I want all of you to give me a quick thumbs up. Yes, contemporary, something modern. Even this particular way, if you're asking something new, which is a little bit ahead of the time. Avika, that was the intention that they have. Yes. Okay. Very good, very good. Now in the previous page, where? Blue for Europe, indigo for Europe. Right, indigo, blue, the color blue, right? It's the color that they have, indigo color. Blue for Europe means they want the blue color, just the sense. Kushank, I hope that it's clear. Sabita, so I will say that the famous dialogue, the puri Ramayan khatam ho gayi and you're asking who is Ram. Yes, now we have discussed the niche cultivation, you're asking now only. Plantation is nothing, Pratyaksh, but when we're growing on a very large scale, right? Crop like coffee, tea, all of these. Okay. Now let's talk about the Roit cultivation, everyone. Now, of course, we will usually have a village headman who has a piece of land, right? And he will be forced to sign on a piece of a paper that he will be taking the responsibility. Now in this, everyone, it's not a choice that they have. Remember that. Niche cultivation, they still have some choices, right, that they can pick. But in the Roit cultivation, right, Royalty cultivation or Rioti cultivation, what was that? That the village head was forced to sign a contract that his village will be producing the indigo, right? Satta or the contract, very good. So the planters will be provided, right, with the seed, the drill, the cultivator, everything, right, and they just have to grow the crop. They have to produce at least 25% of the indigo. Now this is a kind of pressure of them. They will be getting everything, they'll be getting all the things, but on a load, right? This cultivation proved to be oppressive, right? It's not very healthy cultivation for the people. That is the reason, of course, slowly we saw the decline in the indigo production also, and farmers were not that happy. And ultimately the major difference between is that they can actually increase the area under the cultivation. You know what happened at that particular time? If the demand is increasing, right, if the demand of the indigo is increasing, the Britishers will actually ask the people to increase the land. क्या दिक्कत है? For example, if I'm saying, oh, this is my piece of land and I'll be growing indigo on this, and over here we have the houses, the villages. But if there's an increase in the demand of the indigo, the Britishers will come and say, you know what, we will destroy all of these houses, increase the land for the indigo cultivation. That was a disadvantage that we have over here. So everyone, are we clear? Yes. Yes, they cannot. SP Mukherjee, yes, they cannot. I know, Utkarsh, you can leave the class. Yes, clear? Very good, everyone. I hope that it's clear. Do take a screenshot, everyone. And those of you who are talking just amongst themselves or are not respecting the class, please leave the class. Done, very good. Very good. Yes. They did protest, but after some time we'll see that. Kushan, the cash crops are those crops that are usually grown to sell in the market and not to eat. Cotton, other things are the example, like the dye, if you talk about. Kushank, I've answered your question. Aviral, a little bit. Who was the headman? Village cup. Main person. Ma'am, in both the cultivation, how much tax did they have to pay? Again, in terms of the taxes, right, they haven't mentioned that how much taxes they have to pay, but of course they have to give the product to them. They have to sell their goods, but of course the East India Company will be taking the goods at a very bare minimum prices. No, I'm sorry, I don't know her. Yes, dye was used where, ma'am? I forgot your name. Right, but the dye were used to make the textile product like bed sheets, saris, suits, etc., blankets, etc. Thank you, everyone. So I hope that this is clear. All of you. See, this is the most important part in this particular chapter. Vaishnavi, yes. So, ma'am, all the food crops are cash crops, but not all the cash crops are food crops. We can say that. So, sometimes, of course, we are growing it to sell, and sometimes, yeah, in that way. Not at all, Aviral, I saw that you have joined the class late. I'm not ignoring you. Ma'am, in which part indigo is grown mostly? So, Kushank at that particular time in West Bengal. Later we saw it moves to the Bihar also. Okay. Everyone, now we are moving to a question. I want all of you to quickly answer this question. In the royalty cultivation system, the Royat were forced to grow which plant in their farm? It's very easy. Such an easy question, right? Which crop they were forced to grow? Yes, coffee is a cash crop. Yes, very good, everyone. The correct answer is indigo. Now, what we will have ahead, now we'll be discussing about the blue rebel, right? And now you're asking, right, कि ma'am, लोगों ने विद्रोह नहीं किया, लोगों ने protest नहीं किया. They did, and here we have. So just think it over, everyone. Just imagine if you are one of the peasants, right? If I am one of the peasants who are working in the farm where the East India Company are forcing us to grow the indigo, how we will feel? We'll not feel good, right? We will be like, yes, we have to protest. And similarly, we saw the protest happening. So everyone, I hope that till now all of your doubts are cleared. Yes? Yes, very good. It's a food only, but of course, it is not directly used to sell in the market. Yes. And why they love indigo? This one, because it gives a beautiful blue color. Yes, very good, everyone. Okay. Everyone, do you have any doubts? Yes. Okay, let's move ahead. Which type of cultivation is better? I like amongst all of these cultivation, I didn't like any cultivation at all. Both are not good for the farmers, right? Yes, they cannot grow the other crops over there at that particular time. Yes, okay, chaliye. Let's move ahead, everyone, and let's talk about the blue rebellion, alright? The blue rebel, if we all call it as. So, of course, the people were facing all of these from the East India Company and the Britishers, right? And it took them a while for them to realize that what is happening is not correct and they have to raise their voices. So, in the year 1859, remember the year, everyone, in the year 1859, in month of March, we saw the blue rebel happening, right? Thousands of the farmers, thousands of the Royats, right, in Bengal refused to grow the indigo. They said that, ab bas ho gaya hai, we will not be growing the indigo. Right, and of course they refused to grow, they refused the growth of the indigo, and they refused to pay the rent also to the planters, and they attacked the people and the factories that were there. At that particular time, in the British time, right, there were a lot of people who were there to collect the taxes. One of them is the Gaumatas, right, Gaumatas. They are very hatta katta people, right? They will be going to the villages collecting the taxes. If someone is raising their voice, they'll be taking care of them. And of course, in our book, they have mentioned about the people who will have the lathi, right? They will be hitting the people with their rods. Of course, these were the helper of these Britishers. But of course, the people got the clarity that we will not be growing indigo anymore. We will not be making our soil infertile. We will not be paying the taxes and the rent also. That is the reason we call it as the blue rebellion, right? It was because blue color of the indigo. Everyone, I hope this is clear. Yes, wooden things. Veena and Virendra, I'll explain it again. If you follow through, please don't worry. Because S.P. Mukherjee, see, even though they have the money, right, as I told, it's a continuous cycle that they got into. Kushang, you find the answer and tell me, is it a seasonal crop? Okay. So everyone, can you just quickly answer this question, in which year we saw the rebel happening? Yes, jaldi say, all of you. Right, the Lloyds paid the taxes to the East India Company. Very good. Option number B is the correct answer. It happened in the March 1859. So everyone, after this whole rebel happened, as we say very dramatically, right? East India Company in London, they got the shock. Oh my God, what just happened? These people were working really very hard. Everything was really very smooth. But suddenly, what happened and why the rebel? So of course, they called a huge meeting, right? So remember the name, everyone, in the textbook. They have mentioned about the Ashley Eden, right? Remember the name, everyone. So he was, at that particular time, he was taking a charge of that Bengal region. So after this rebel happened, he visited these places, right? He said that, okay, fine, I will be writing a report. He was just taking a look at it, and people saw that they are supporting them and they are with it. So what happened? A lot of meetings happened, and there were a lot of back and forth that, okay, what is the reason for the condition of such people? Of course, it came to the East India Company and to the management at that particular time. So eventually what we saw, there was a formation of Indigo Commission was held, and they held the planters guilty. They said that the planters are the one who are guilty for the condition of the riot, right? And they said that you don't have to grow the indigo. You can stop growing the indigo. It was such a relief for all the farmers, right? So the blame came to the planters who have the land, right? And who were kind of forcing these people to work on a piece of land. So they said that no more growing of the indigo. Then the indigo production collapsed in West Bengal, right? And the planters shifted their operation to Bihar. So few of the planters actually moved to the Bihar because they have to earn the bread, right? And when they started their cultivation in Bihar, they again faced a similar situation, and at that time they called Mahatma Gandhi ji in the year 1917, and that actually marked the Champaran movement against the indigo planter. Now everyone, this is a very, very important movement in the history. So Gandhiji came back from South Africa, and when he came to a country, he went to different places and he raised his voice for the indigo plant farmers. So this is a very important movement that we have. So what happened in the aftermath of it? We know that there was a big committee. There was a formation of the Indigo Commission to find out who is the culprit. They put the blame on the planters, and they said that to farmers, you don't have to grow the indigo anymore, right? So the farmers who still want to grow the, some crops of indigo, they moved from West Bengal to the Bihar, and there of course similar things were happening, and then they called Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1719. Clear, everyone? Yes, the planters supported the Britishers because they were also making some money out of it, right? Yes. Why did Mahatma Gandhi travel to South Africa? He was studying there, right? His law. Hemant, it's a place in Bihar. Yes. Okay. That you have to find out who is the head. Yes, very good. So seeds come from the flowers, right? Yes, it's 1917. Sorry, I said 1719, but yeah, it's 1917. Who is Ashley Eden? So Ashley Eden was the in charge at that particular time. He was a lieutenant governor. He had a tour there, right? He was touring around the area where the rebel happened. Okay. So with this, everyone, I'm kind of done with this particular chapter. But quickly, everyone, can you answer this question? It's such an easy question, right? Okay, aftermath means that after the whole of incident, when we look at the events that happened, right, that is the aftermath. The peasants in the Bihar convinced which freedom fighter to visit the Champaran? Yes, Vinita have answered that question. Very good, everyone. The correct answer is Mahatma Gandhi. Very, very good. Okay, so everyone, now I hope that, do you have any doubts, or you want me to repeat it once again and then you want me to answer your doubts? Homework question, I have a homework question for you. हाँ हिंदी में बोलती हूँ, रुक जाओ अभी, but just tell me everyone. So चलिए, let's quickly revise. I'll quickly revise all of this, everyone. चलिए, we are starting from the beginning of the chapter. Yes, okay. Okay, let's quickly focus over here, everyone. So of course this chapter have the very, very important sense of why the East India Company came to our country. They have an agenda to, of course, they want to increase the revenue. So what happened after the battle that we have? We saw the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, right? We saw that the East India Company took the control of the financial administration of the region of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. They became the Diwani, right? They have the financial control. And after that, they want to increase the revenue. They have two ways: increasing the tax on the land and increasing the agriculture production. When they increased the agriculture production, they came up with the various different systems so that they'll be able to take more money out of it. So we have three systems. We have permanent system, Mahalwari system and Rotwari system. Permanent system mein we have Rajas and Talukdar. They are the kind of subordinates, Indian people only, but they are collecting the money from the farmer and giving it to the East India Company. They were not very honest, they were cheating, so that's why later we saw the other systems happening. In the permanent settlement, the farmers have to give a fixed amount to the East India Company. It was devised, or it was made by the Cornwallis in the year 1793. Then of course we have Mahalwari settlement, which came in the year 1822. It was devised by the Holt Mackenzie. And in this systems, right, what was the condition? That the village headman will be collecting the rent from the people or the taxes from the people and will be giving it to the East India Company. The people or the head people, the village headmen, right, will be going to the villages individually. He'll be checking the land, and based upon that, he will mention the amount that has to be given to the East India Company, and it will be changed on a periodical basis. The last system, everyone, that we have over here is the Rotwari settlement in the year 1820. It actually goes up to 1823 altogether. In that, we usually see this in the southern part of the country, and it doesn't have a very fixed system altogether, and the tax was directly being collected from the people and goes to the East India Company. Samajh mein aa raha hai? Yes, Virendra, you can leave the class, right? I'm sure you will be writing the answer in the English only. Everyone, see. Right, everyone? All of you should understand that eventually all of you will be writing your answers in the examination in English only. Right? So if you feel that अंग्रेज चले गए, हिंदी ये सब छोड़ गए, you can say this in some other class but not in my class. You can आराम से leave the class. There's no pressure on you. Right? It's a free country. But I want you not to encourage such dialogues in the class, right, where all of us are trying to study. Yes. Okay. Then of course we discussed about the indigo cultivation system, right? Indigo cultivation system. And we discussed two important cultivation. We have niche cultivation and royalty cultivation. What we studied in the niche cultivation, growing indigo on a land owned or acquired by the planter himself, right? They don't have a pressure to grow a certain amount of percentage of the indigo, but definitely they face some challenges because they will not get laborers, they will not get the cattle at the time of the cultivation. The other, we have the royal system, and of course over here the planters were kind of forced, right? The farmers were forced to grow the indigo, and they have to they have to grow a certain amount of the percentage on the land and they have to produce the indigo. Apart from that, they were kind of trapped into the cycle of the loan so that they can't even move away from it. We talked about the Blue Rebellion and after its math, right? We saw that the people have a huge rebel against the Britishers or the East India Company in March 1859, and the indigo production collapsed in West Bengal, and of course it shifted to Bihar, where of course they faced a similar condition and they requested Mahatma Gandhi to visit and raise their voice for them. Clear? Yes, all of you, I hope that is clear. Yes, Rotwari system was introduced by Monroe. Sujata, I don't know what is the problem, bache, you have. After maths, bache, if everything is done right, if we can have everything is done right, uske baad mein, what are the after effects of it? Yes. Whom did the Royd pay tax to? The East India Company. Okay. In the Rotwari system, they were paying the tax directly to the East India Company. Yes. Vinita, were the planters supporting the Britishers? If yes, then why? No, they were not supporting Britishers, but of course it was a chance for them to gain or to make some money, right? Yes, Rotwari system was made, or was, we can say that it was advised by the Monroe, and of course it was there in the southern part of the country. Most important thing about it, that the taxes were given directly to the East India Company by the farmers, right? The rent was kind of not very fixed, but of course it was see the changes periodically, and most importantly, the land will be measured, the quality of the soil will be measured, and everything will be checked, and based upon that the tax was decided. East India Company is an Indian country. East India Company was a company which came from the London. Okay. Yes, Blue Rebel, Chris Shiva. So what was there? What happened? It was a rebel against the growth of the indigo, that farmers and the peasants say that we will not be growing indigo anymore. So they rebel against the Britishers and the East India Company. Okay. Grains. Why? Kyun, Dilip? Everyone, I hope that this is clear. Everyone do take a screenshot of the timetable, and of course everyone do take the answer for this. Yes, we will be having the mentee, right, probably in the upcoming weeks, right? So please make sure everyone to come to the class, and please everyone do write the answer in the question in the comment section below. We have the question: what was a niche cultivation, right? Yes. Okay. Yes, okay. Zamindar, the permanent revenue was fixed for some people or for the Zamindar? So it was fixed for the people who are growing on the piece of land, and of course there is a certain amount of the money which the Zamindar or the Talukdar, especially the Talukdar, have to give it to the East India Company. Yes, clear, very good. Dilip, I think you are asking about some grains, wheat, oats, rice, grains. Swati, yes, you can watch the session again. Thank you. Yes. Avika, I've just explained it once again, bache. Yes. They can add the more fertilizers, but of course the soil needs some time to replenish it, right? The soil needs some time to rejuvenate, right? It needs some time to add nutrient back. Pile indigo is a type of plant, bache. Food crop. Now, Dilip, that could be the answer. It's a very easy difference that you're asking. So all of you write the difference between what is a cash crop and a food crop. It's a very easy one. There's only one major difference between these two. So please make sure to write the difference between these two, everyone. Right, and with this, I think I would end the class because it's almost 9:06. And thank you, everyone, so much for waiting till the end and staying with us. Kushank, indigo is a seasonal crop. What do you think? Think about it, everyone. Do you think that indigo is a seasonal crop? Now we have just studied that the planters were forcing people to work throughout the year. So there's a hint over there, right? Everyone, do make sure to write the answer in the comment section below. And if you have any doubts, please do write your doubts. We will be coming up with the quiz in the upcoming week, so don't worry. right? And with that, everyone, please make sure to watch the part 1 and the part 2 all together. Please do read your textbooks because that will be helping you to understand the whole chapter with clarity, right? And yeah, that's it. So two important things: read your chapter and watch the sessions. That's it. You'll be mastering this chapter, everyone. The ruling the countryside will be meeting really very soon. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this session. Please make sure to hit the like button for the video, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And with that, lots of love to each one of you. We'll be meeting really very soon. Keep on learning with Byju's. Bye bye.